Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time, I truly bid you a warm welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you once again for popping in to watch more of my content. I know it's been a while since last I uploaded a video. All I can say is life has gotten quite interesting and unfortunately not in a fun way. So today's video will be about Zerg units from Starcraft 2. Sit back, relax, and hope you enjoy the video. And without further ado, the Baneling is a specialized unit that evolves from the Zergling, trading sustained attacks for devastating area of effect damage. Banelings are living bombs, designed to explode upon contact with enemy units or structures. Their acidic detonation is particularly effective against light units, such as Marines or Zealots, and can quickly turn the tide of battles. Despite their single-use nature, Banelings are cost-efficient, as their explosive power often outweighs the resources spent to produce them. Banelings can be further enhanced with upgrades like centrifugal hooks, which increases their movement speed, making it easier for them to close the distance to their targets. Burrowed Banelings add an element of surprise, allowing commanders to set deadly traps that punish overzealous opponents. Their versatility extends to base harassment, as a small group of Banelings can annihilate worker lines or breach fortified defenses. While Banelings are vulnerable before they detonate, their psychological impact on opponents is significant. The mere presence of Banelings forces enemies to carefully position their units, creating opportunities for the rest of the swarm to capitalize on. Banelings exemplify the Zerg's theme of calculated sacrifice, delivering explosive results that embody the swarm's relentless pursuit of victory. The Brood Lord is the ultimate Zerg air-to-ground siege unit, embodying the swarm's relentless strategy of overwhelming opponents with continuous pressure. Evolved from the Corruptor at the Greater Spire, the Brood Lord transforms aerial dominance into ground devastation. Its unique attack spawns broodlings, small, fast melee units that assault the target upon impact. This combination of range damage and spawning reinforcements makes the Brood Lord incredibly effective at dismantling ground-based armies and static defenses alike. The relentless arrival of broodlings not only deals damage but also disrupts enemy formations, forcing them to constantly reposition and making concentrated counterattacks difficult. Brood Lords excel in sieges, particularly against entrenched positions with bunkers, siege tanks, or other defensive emplacements. Their ability to attack from a safe distance, combined with the expendable nature of broodlings, allows them to wear down opponents without risking significant losses. While devastating on the offensive, Brood Lords are relatively slow and vulnerable to anti-air units, such as Vikings, Tempests, or large groups of Marines. As such, they require support from units like Hydralisks, Infestors, or Queens to protect them from aerial threats. Strategically, Brood Lords shine in the late game, where their high cost and long evolution process are offset by their unmatched utility in prolonged battles. They are particularly effective in team compositions that prioritize breaking enemy defenses or creating chaos in tightly packed armies. Their synergy with other Zerg units, such as Zerglings or Banelings, amplifies their impact, as broodlings can overwhelm enemy ground forces while more durable units press the attack. The Brood Lord epitomizes the Zerg's evolutionary brilliance and their ability to adapt to any situation. While their slow speed and reliance on support units present challenges, their devastating ground control capabilities make them indispensable in securing victory for the swarm. A commander who masters the use of Brood Lords will find them to be a decisive tool in the Zerg's arsenal, embodying the swarm's philosophy of sustained aggression and unyielding pressure. The Corruptor is a specialized anti-air unit introduced in StarCraft 2, designed to dominate the skies and secure aerial superiority for the Zerg swarm. Evolved from the lava, Corruptors are relatively durable and capable of taking on the most formidable air units, such as battlecruisers, carriers, and void rays. Their attacks are single-target but potent, making them ideal for systematically dismantling high-value aerial threats. One of their defining abilities, Corruption, allows them to temporarily increase the damage taken by an enemy unit, synergizing well with other Zerg forces to focus down critical targets quickly. This ability makes them not only powerful in one-on-one engagements but also invaluable in team compositions, as they enhance the overall effectiveness of the swarm's forces against priority threats. Corruptors also have a strategic role in the Zerg's late-game arsenal, as they can morph into Brood Lords, transforming their role from air superiority to devastating ground sieges. This dual-purpose functionality adds a layer of versatility to their use, allowing commanders to adapt their strategies based on the evolving needs of the battlefield. While Corruptors excel in the air, they lack the ability to attack ground units directly, meaning they require support to deal with ground-based threats. Despite this limitation, their durability and high damage output make them a reliable option for maintaining control of the skies. In team engagements, Corruptors thrive when used strategically to pick off key units such as colossi or air capital ships that anchor an opponent's army. Their relatively low cost and robust health pool make them a cost-effective choice for air dominance. However, they are vulnerable to concentrated anti-air attacks, particularly from units like Vikings, Phoenixes, or large groups of Marines. As such, Corruptor commanders must carefully manage their positioning and prioritize targets effectively to maximize their impact. Beyond their combat utility, Corruptors exemplify the Zerg's philosophy of adaptability and efficiency. Their ability to weaken enemies, secure airspace, and transition into siege roles demonstrates the swarm's evolutionary brilliance. A well-microed group of Corruptors can dismantle an opponent's aerial power, paving the way for the rest of the swarm to overwhelm with relentless force. Their role in the Zerg's ecosystem highlights the faction's intricate balance of specialization and versatility, ensuring that no enemy remains out of reach of the swarm's grasp. The drone is the fundamental worker unit of the Zerg swarm, responsible for the critical tasks of gathering resources and constructing structures. Evolved directly from the larva, drones represent the backbone of the swarm's economy. They harvest minerals and extract Vespian gas, ensuring a steady stream of resources needed to produce additional units and buildings. Unlike other factions' workers, drones sacrifice themselves to morph into structures, showcasing the Zerg's philosophy of selflessness and efficiency. This unique mechanic emphasizes the importance of resource management and timing in Zerg strategies, as every drone used for construction reduces the workforce temporarily. Drones are vulnerable and unarmed, making them prime targets for enemy harassment. Protecting them with early-game units like Zerglings or Queens is crucial to maintaining a stable economy. Despite their fragility, drones can burrow when upgraded, allowing them to avoid attacks in dire situations. This ability, combined with the Zerg's mobility and adaptability, helps mitigate losses during enemy raids. In team games or campaigns, drones' efficiency and ability to quickly establish new bases allow Zerg players to outpace opponents economically. Their rapid production from hatcheries, lairs, or hives ensures that the swarm can rebuild quickly, even after significant losses. The drone's role may seem simple, but its importance cannot be overstated. It is the foundation upon which the overwhelming power of the swarm is built, embodying the Zerg's relentless drive for growth and expansion. The Hydralisk is a versatile ranged unit that has been a staple of the Zerg swarm since the original Starcraft. Renowned for its high damage output, the Hydralisk is effective against both air and ground targets, making it a key component of any balanced Zerg army. Evolved from larvae at the Hydralisk den, these units provide a reliable counter to enemy forces that rely on air superiority or massed infantry. With their long-range spines and rapid attack speed, Hydralisks excel in focused engagements, where their damage can quickly whittle down opposing forces. Hydralisks benefit significantly from upgrades, including grooved spines, which increases their attack range, and muscular augments, enhancing their movement speed. These upgrades address the Hydralisk's primary weaknesses, lack of mobility and vulnerability to splash damage, and make them more effective in large-scale battles. However, Hydralisks are relatively fragile compared to other Zerg units, requiring careful positioning and support to ensure they maximize their damage potential while avoiding unnecessary losses. Commanders often pair Hydralisks with more durable units, like Roaches or Ultralisks, to shield them from direct assaults and allow them to focus on dealing damage. In addition to their combat versatility, Hydralisks exemplify the Zerg's adaptability. Their role in the swarm's arsenal has evolved over time, reflecting changes in strategy and battlefield dynamics. Whether as the backbone of a mid-game army or as a key support unit in the late game, Hydralisks remain an iconic and essential element of Zerg strategy. Their high skill ceiling and reliance on upgrades reward players who can effectively micromanage them, turning what might seem like a fragile unit into a devastating force on the battlefield. The Infestor is a versatile spellcaster that brings a wealth of utility and disruption to the Zerg swarm. Evolved from lava at the Infestation Pit, Infestors rely on their energy-based abilities to manipulate battles and turn the tide in favor of the swarm. Their most iconic ability, Fungal Growth, immobilizes enemy units and deals damage over time, making it invaluable for locking down mobile forces like Marines, Mutalisks, or Stalkers. This ability not only disrupts enemy strategies but also creates opportunities for Zerg units to capitalize on immobilized targets. Another powerful tool in the Infestor's arsenal is Neural Parasite, which allows them to temporarily take control of an enemy unit. This ability is particularly effective against high-value targets like siege tanks, colossi, or Thors, enabling Zerg commanders to turn the enemy's strength against them. Additionally, Infestors can spawn infested Terrans, providing temporary reinforcements that can harass enemy forces or bolster defenses. Infestors benefit greatly from upgrades that enhance their energy regeneration, ensuring they remain effective in prolonged engagements. However, they are fragile and rely on careful positioning and support to survive. Their ability to burrow adds an element of stealth, allowing them to infiltrate enemy lines or escape from danger when necessary. The Infestor's role as a disruptor and support unit underscores the Zerg's emphasis on adaptability and strategic depth. In the hands of a skilled commander, Infestors can dismantle even the most coordinated enemy forces, proving that the swarm's strength lies not only in numbers but also in cunning and ingenuity. The Lurker is a deadly evolution of the Hydralisk, specializing in area of effect ground damage. First introduced in Starcraft, Brood War and reintroduced in Starcraft 2, Legacy of the Void, Lurkers are a strategic asset designed to control key locations and punish clustered enemy forces. Once morphed at the Lurker Den, they can burrow into the ground, where their spines unleash devastating line attacks that pierce through multiple units. This ability makes them particularly effective against tightly packed infantry and defensive lines, forcing opponents to rethink their positioning and movement. Lurkers are most effective when used for map control and area denial. They excel at defending choke points and protecting key expansions, as their burrowed state renders them immune to direct attacks from ground units unless detected. Upgrades like Seismic Spines, which increase their attack range, enhance their utility and allow them to control larger areas. However, Lurkers are vulnerable to detection and long-range units, making support from Overseers or Vipers crucial to their success. Strategically, Lurkers embody the Zerg's philosophy of ambush and adaptability. Their ability to create kill zones and disrupt enemy formations makes them a vital tool for commanders who excel at positioning and timing. While they require significant investment and careful management, Lurkers can turn the tide of battles, demonstrating the swarm's capacity for both raw power and tactical finesse. The Mutalisk is the quintessential Zerg air unit, known for its speed, mobility, and versatility. Evolved from lava at the Spire, Mutalisks are highly effective at hit-and-run tactics, harassing enemy bases, and picking off vulnerable units. Their defining feature is the Glaive Worm attack, which bounces between up to 3 targets, dealing diminishing damage with each bounce. This ability allows Mutalisks to inflict widespread damage across tightly grouped units and structures, making them a persistent threat that demands immediate attention from opponents. Mutalisks are most effective when used in packs, where their combined firepower can overwhelm lightly defended areas and disrupt enemy economies. Their high mobility allows them to capitalize on openings in an opponent's defenses, darting between expansions or striking retreating forces. Upgrades like Flyer Attacks and Flyer Carapace enhance their damage and survivability, ensuring they remain relevant throughout the mid-game and beyond. Despite their strengths, Mutalisks are fragile and vulnerable to concentrated anti-air attacks, such as those from missile turrets, Thors, or large groups of Marines. This fragility necessitates careful micromanagement to avoid unnecessary losses. Strategically, Mutalisks embody the Zerg's philosophy of constant pressure and adaptability. They force opponents to spread their defenses and invest in anti-air units, creating opportunities for other Zerg forces to exploit. Mutalisk flocks can also serve as a psychological weapon, keeping opponents on edge as they try to predict the swarm's next strike. In team games or campaigns, their ability to strike multiple targets and retreat quickly makes them a valuable tool for disrupting enemy plans and supporting allied forces. Mutalisks are a testament to the Zerg's mastery of mobility and efficiency. While they require careful handling to maximize their impact, their ability to harass, distract, and devastate enemy forces ensures they remain a cornerstone of the swarm's aerial strategy. In the hands of a skilled commander, a pack of Mutalisks can wreak havoc across the battlefield, epitomizing the relentless aggression of the Zerg. The Overlord is a multi-purpose unit critical to the Zerg's success, serving as both a supply provider and a scout. Produced from lava, Overlords increase the Zerg's supply cap, enabling the production of larger armies. They also serve as the primary reconnaissance unit in the early game, providing valuable vision of the battlefield and enemy movements. Overlords are unarmed but can be upgraded to move faster, enhancing their scouting potential. Additionally, they can deploy creep, extending the swarm's territory and facilitating faster movement for Zerg ground units. In Starcraft 2, Overlords can evolve into Overseers, granting them detection capabilities and additional utility. This transformation underscores the Zerg's adaptability, allowing commanders to counter cloaked or burrowed units effectively. Overlords are vulnerable to anti-air units, making positioning and map awareness critical to their survival. Experienced players often use Overlords to create a vision network across the map, ensuring no enemy movement goes unnoticed. Beyond their practical uses, Overlords embody the swarm's theme of interconnectedness. They act as the eyes of the swarm, enabling strategic decisions based on real-time information. While often overlooked compared to combat units, Overlords play a pivotal role in maintaining the Zerg's dominance and adaptability on the battlefield. The Overseer is an evolved form of the Overlord, serving as the Zerg's advanced reconnaissance and support unit. Introduced in StarCraft 2, the Overseer plays a critical role in maintaining battlefield awareness and countering stealth-based threats. Evolved at the hatchery's tech tree, the Overseer retains the supply-boosting capability of its predecessor while adding unique abilities that amplify the swarm's adaptability and strategic depth. One of the Overseer's most vital functions is its detection capability, which reveals cloaked and burrowed units in its vicinity. This makes it indispensable when facing opponents who rely on stealth tactics, such as Protoss Dark Templars, Terran Banshees, or burrowed Zerg forces. The Overseer's detection ensures that these threats can be neutralized swiftly, preventing catastrophic damage to the swarm. In addition to its role as a detector, the Overseer provides utility through its contaminate ability. This power temporarily disables the production of units and research at targeted enemy structures, disrupting their economy and tech advancements. By carefully timing contaminate on critical structures like barracks, gateways, or starports, Zerg commanders can delay enemy reinforcements or upgrades, giving the swarm a significant strategic edge. The Overseer can also deploy changelings, which infiltrate enemy ranks disguised as basic infantry units. This ability enables the Overseer to scout enemy bases and gather intelligence on their army composition and movements. Changelings are particularly effective in the early to mid-game, where distractions and large armies make them harder to detect. While highly versatile, the Overseer is relatively fragile and unarmed, making it vulnerable to focused anti-air fire. Skilled Zerg players must position their Overseers carefully, keeping them just behind the front lines or within the safety of their armies. Their speed, which can be upgraded with pneumatized carapace, allows them to respond quickly to emerging threats and maintain their critical role as the swarm's eyes in the sky. The Overseer epitomizes the Zerg's philosophy of adaptation and strategic awareness. Its suite of abilities ensures that the swarm is never caught off guard, while its presence enables more aggressive and informed decision-making. Whether providing vital intelligence, countering stealth, or disrupting enemy plans, the Overseer is a key asset in any Zerg commander's arsenal. The Queen is one of the most versatile and iconic units in the Zerg swarm, serving as a cornerstone of the Zerg's economy, defense, and battlefield sustainability. Unlike most Zerg units, the Queen is not evolved from lava but is produced directly at the hatchery, ensuring its accessibility early in the game. It is a specialized support unit, designed to bolster the swarm's growth while providing essential defense and utility. One of the Queen's most critical roles is its ability to use spawn lava, a powerful economic ability that injects hatcheries with additional lava production. This ensures a steady supply of units, enabling the Zerg to overwhelm opponents with sheer numbers. Skilled Zerg commanders prioritize this ability to maintain consistent pressure and rapidly replenish their forces after engagements. The Queen also excels in map control and defense, thanks to its creep tumor ability. By spreading creep across the battlefield, the Queen increases the movement speed of Zerg units and grants vision over critical areas. Effective creep spread is a hallmark of expert Zerg play, allowing for better mobility, awareness, and control of key strategic points. Defensively, the Queen is a formidable asset in the early game, providing strong anti-air and ground support. With its ranged attacks, the Queen can fend off early harassment from enemy units like Reapers, Oracles, or Zerglings. Its durability and ability to regenerate health outside of combat make it an effective anchor for holding expansions or repelling enemy raids. Additionally, its transfusion ability can heal both biological units and structures, ensuring that critical units like Ultralisks or buildings like spine crawlers remain in the fight longer. Despite its utility, the Queen is relatively slow off creep, making it less effective in offensive operations. Its role is primarily supportive, and while it can participate in engagements, it is best used to maintain the swarm's momentum and sustain prolonged battles. Players must carefully position their Queens to maximize their utility while avoiding unnecessary losses, particularly against fast-moving enemies or overwhelming numbers. The Queen is a true embodiment of the Zerg's philosophy of adaptability and interconnectedness. Its ability to enhance production, control the battlefield, and sustain the swarm through tough engagements makes it indispensable in any match. Whether defending against early aggression, healing vital units, or ensuring the swarm's economic growth, the Queen is a keystone of Zerg strategy and an enduring symbol of the swarm's resilience. The Roach is a durable ranged unit introduced in Starcraft 2, serving as the Zerg's frontline combatant in the mid-game. Evolved from larvae at the Roach Warren, Roaches boast high health and natural regeneration, making them resilient against most enemy units. Their attacks deal moderate damage and are effective against both light and armored targets, providing flexibility in engagements. Roaches are particularly effective when used en masse, as their durability allows them to absorb significant damage while dealing consistent output. Roaches can be upgraded with glial reconstitution, enhancing their movement speed, and tunneling claws, allowing them to burrow and move while burrowed. These upgrades provide Roaches with additional mobility and ambush potential, making them versatile in both offensive and defensive strategies. Burrowed Roaches can heal while underground, adding to their survivability and making them an enduring threat in prolonged battles. Despite their strengths, Roaches have limitations, including a relatively high supply cost and susceptibility to air units and splash damage. They excel in numbers but require careful positioning and support from other Zerg units, such as Hydralisks or Zerglings, to address their weaknesses. The Roach's adaptability and resilience embody the Zerg's evolutionary design, ensuring the swarm remains a formidable force across various stages of battle. The Roach is a durable ranged unit introduced in StarCraft 2, serving as the Zerg's frontline combatant in the mid-game. Evolved from larvae at the Roach Warren, Roaches boast high health and natural regeneration, making them resilient against most enemy units. Their attacks deal moderate damage and are effective against both light and armored targets, providing flexibility in engagements. Roaches are particularly effective when used en masse, as their durability allows them to absorb significant damage while dealing consistent output. Roaches can be upgraded with glial reconstitution, enhancing their movement speed, and tunneling claws, allowing them to burrow and move while burrowed. These upgrades provide Roaches with additional mobility and ambush potential, making them versatile in both offensive and defensive strategies. Burrowed Roaches can heal while underground, adding to their survivability and making them an enduring threat in prolonged battles. Despite their strengths, Roaches have limitations, including a relatively high supply cost and susceptibility to air units and splash damage. They excel in numbers but require careful positioning and support from other Zerg units, such as Hydralisks or Zerglings, to address their weaknesses. The Roach's adaptability and resilience embody the Zerg's evolutionary design, ensuring the swarm remains a formidable force across various stages of battle. The Swarm Host is a unique Zerg unit introduced in StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, embodying the swarm's relentless philosophy of attritional warfare. As a siege-oriented unit, the swarm host doesn't attack directly but instead generates waves of locusts, temporary units that deal significant damage to both ground units and structures. This makes the swarm host a powerful tool for exerting pressure on opponents, breaking fortified positions, or softening enemy forces before a major engagement. The locusts spawned by the swarm host are free units with a limited lifespan, capable of inflicting considerable damage in large numbers. With the enduring locusts or flying locusts upgrades, their effectiveness is further amplified, increasing their range or granting them the ability to cross impassable terrain, respectively. These upgrades make the swarm host an even more versatile and persistent threat, forcing opponents to allocate resources and attention to deal with constant waves of aggression. Swarm hosts are most effective when used strategically, positioned just outside the enemy's detection range or in hard-to-reach locations. They can repeatedly unleash locusts to whittle down defenses or delay enemy advances, providing a consistent source of pressure without putting the main Zerg forces at risk. Skilled commanders often pair swarm hosts with other Zerg units or use them to complement aggressive pushes, creating a multi-layered assault that overwhelms the opponent. Despite their strengths, swarm hosts have notable limitations. They cannot attack directly and rely entirely on locusts to deal damage, making them vulnerable when caught without locusts available to deploy. Additionally, they are slow-moving and require protection from faster or more mobile enemy units, particularly air threats that locusts cannot target effectively. To maximize their potential, Zerg players must carefully manage their positioning, use terrain to their advantage, and coordinate with supporting units. The swarm host epitomizes the Zerg's doctrine of persistence and adaptation. It excels in grinding down opponents through attrition, wearing them out over time with an endless barrage of expendable units. In the hands of a skilled commander, the swarm host can transform the battlefield into a nightmare for enemies, turning even the most fortified positions into fertile ground for the swarm's inevitable conquest. The Ultralisk is the pinnacle of Zerg ground-based combat, representing the swarm's philosophy of overwhelming power and brute force. Evolved from lava at the Ultralisk cavern, this massive, armored monstrosity is designed to smash through enemy lines and soak up enormous amounts of damage. With its colossal size, durability, and devastating melee attacks, the Ultralisk is an iconic symbol of the swarm's raw might. The Ultralisk excels in dealing with large groups of ground units, thanks to its cleave ability, which allows its attacks to hit multiple targets in a sweeping arc. This makes it especially effective against tightly packed infantry units like Marines, Zealots, or Zerglings, cutting through their ranks with ease. Upgrades such as chitinous plating, which increases its armor, and anabolic synthesis, which boosts its movement speed, further enhance the Ultralisk's battlefield dominance by improving its survivability and mobility. Despite its overwhelming strength, the Ultralisk has several vulnerabilities. Its massive size makes it prone to being surrounded or trapped by smaller, faster units, while its reliance on melee combat leaves it susceptible to ranged attackers, particularly air units. Additionally, it struggles against units that deal high single-target damage, such as Immortals or Marauders, and is vulnerable to crowd control abilities like stuns or slows. Skilled commanders mitigate these weaknesses by pairing Ultralisks with supportive units such as Queens for healing or Zerglings to draw enemy fire. In large-scale battles, Ultralisks act as the vanguard of the Zerg army, charging headfirst into enemy formations and soaking up damage while other Zerg units exploit the chaos. Their sheer presence can force opponents to adjust their strategies, dedicating significant resources to countering them, which can create opportunities for the rest of the swarm to strike. Ultralisks are also highly effective in base assaults, where their durability and splash damage can decimate enemy defenses and workers alike. The Ultralisk epitomizes the Zerg's evolutionary philosophy of resilience and overwhelming aggression. Its unrelenting strength and durability make it a cornerstone of late-game Zerg strategies, allowing the swarm to dominate the battlefield through sheer force. In the hands of a capable commander, the Ultralisk becomes an unstoppable juggernaut, embodying the raw, primal fury of the swarm as it crushes all opposition underfoot. The Viper is a highly specialized support unit in the Zerg arsenal, introduced in Starcraft II, Heart of the Swarm. Unlike other Zerg units, the Viper emphasizes utility and battlefield manipulation, giving the swarm a distinct advantage through its disruptive abilities. Evolved from Lava at the Hive, the Viper is a flying unit that lacks direct offensive capabilities but compensates with its suite of powerful, game-changing abilities. One of the Viper's signature abilities is Abduct, which allows it to pull an enemy unit to its location. This ability is invaluable for isolating and eliminating high-value targets such as siege tanks, colossi, or battlecruisers, disrupting enemy formations and turning the tide of engagements. Another ability, Blinding Cloud, creates a toxic mist that drastically reduces the attack range of all affected units. This can render ranged units like Marines, Stalkers, or Hydralisks almost useless, forcing opponents to reposition or retreat. The Consume ability rounds out the Viper's toolkit, allowing it to sacrifice allied structures to restore its energy quickly, ensuring it remains a constant threat on the battlefield. The Viper's role in combat is inherently strategic, requiring precise timing and positioning to maximize its impact. It works best when paired with other Zerg units, such as Ultralisks or Roaches, where its abilities can protect these frontline forces and weaken enemy defenses. Blinding Cloud is particularly effective in forcing engagements on Zerg terms, allowing melee units to close the gap without being shredded by ranged firepower. Meanwhile, Abduct can surgically remove critical threats, giving the swarm the upper hand in otherwise evenly matched battles. Despite its utility, the Viper has significant vulnerabilities. It is relatively fragile and cannot attack directly, making it an easy target for anti-air units or focused fire. Commanders must carefully manage the Viper's positioning, keeping it behind the front lines and using its abilities from a safe distance. Proper energy management is also crucial, as the Viper's effectiveness depends on its ability to use its abilities at the right moment. The Viper embodies the Zerg's theme of adaptability and tactical superiority, offering tools to counteract entrenched enemies or powerful units. Its ability to disrupt, isolate, and control the flow of battle makes it an indispensable unit in the Zerg swarm, particularly in late-game scenarios where engagements are decided by precision and resourcefulness. In the hands of a skilled commander, the Viper can transform the battlefield into a playground for the swarm, ensuring that no situation is beyond the Zerg's ability to conquer. The Zergling is the quintessential Zerg unit, representing the swarm's philosophy of overwhelming opponents through sheer numbers. Evolved from the Lava, Zerglings are fast, agile, and cost-efficient, making them a staple of Zerg armies. They are produced in pairs, allowing commanders to amass large swarms quickly and apply constant pressure on their opponents. With their high speed and ability to surround enemies, Zerglings excel at overwhelming isolated units and disrupting enemy economies by targeting workers and undefended expansions. Zerglings can be further enhanced through upgrades such as Metabolic Boost, which increases their movement speed, and Adrenal Glands, which improves their attack speed. These upgrades make Zerglings even more effective in combat, allowing them to remain a threat well into the late game. Additionally, they can morph into Banelings, giving them an explosive edge against clustered enemy units and structures. While Zerglings are fragile and susceptible to splash damage, their low cost and rapid production ensure a constant stream of reinforcements. Effective use of Zerglings requires precise micromanagement, as their strength lies in their numbers and ability to outmaneuver opponents. In the hands of a skilled commander, Zerglings can dictate the pace of the game, forcing enemies to react to the swarm's relentless aggression. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed this dive into the swarm. I'm still refining my editing skills, so thanks for bearing with me, it's all part of the evolution. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Until next time, stay relentless, just like the Zerg. See you in the next one.